Welcome back to the Gym with Kid Podcast 216. You already know how we start. We start off by thanking God for all He has done for me and what He will continue to do for me, but not only me, my family, my friends, and those who I don't even know. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. If you are listening to this, we are blessed. Just know that we are blessed. And why I say that is because somebody, somewhere, didn't wake up today. And even if you need a reminder of that, go to your local, obituary section inside of whatever the local paper is, and you can see how many people didn't make it to the day. And sometimes it's in the thousands of people. But we are still here, so that means that we still have purpose. And that should account for something. But let's get into it. But before we get into it, we always start with a verse of the day. Excuse the background noise. Currently recording in my basement, but y'all know how it is. I just come with y'all just straight real. But let's go to the verse of the day. And the verse of the day is gonna be, one second here. It says in Peter chapter 2 verse 17. We get into the title of this episode, and it's called Respect. And I wanted to see what the Bible says about respect. And it says, respect everyone and love the family of believers, fear God and respect the King. This verse it emphasizes the importance of respecting everyone regardless of their position or their social status. That's what the scripture says about respect. And that's the title of this episode. Respect. When I was younger, I didn't know what that was. But I remember being taught very quickly what that was. I had no idea. Now, I can recall people saying it, but I didn't know. So one day, may my grandmother, may she rest in peace, we were in the car, and she explained to me that respect goes both ways, not one. And she said sometimes you gotta respect people even though they don't respect you. You gotta kill them with kindness. And I never quite understood what that meant, because a lot of times we were taught, like, how you treat me is how I'm gonna treat you. You treat me bad, I'm gonna treat you bad. But my grandmother always told me sometimes you respect people even though they don't deserve it. They don't deserve to be respected. But you respect them anyway. You treat them with kindness. And she said they'll look within inside themselves like, why is he treating me like this? I don't deserve this. I'm not a good person. I don't treat him very well, but he's still respecting me. This is how my grandmother put it. Now, this is a true story. This is how she put it. So I said, okay. But I just never could wrap my mind around it, because I couldn't say that I'd agree with. I cannot say that I agreed with it in its entirety. I didn't. So later on in my life, I just remember when people would disrespect me, I would disrespect them. They'd do it to me, I'd do it to them. So I didn't even consider what my grandmother said. Now, it's okay to let a person know, like, hey, you disrespect me and I did not like this. That is okay. Under no circumstances am I saying just let anybody treat you any type of way. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to move accordingly. Like, my grandmother always told me, like, you can't do what individuals expect you to do. They expect you to do this. So you shouldn't act in that way. You shouldn't. You just shouldn't act in that way. If they expect you, they figure, hey, if I do this, they're gonna react like this. She always told me to try my best to outthink people. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now, is that hard? Yes. It's very hard. It's easier said than done. Because we live in a society where people are constantly disrespecting or don't have respect for others. I don't have to like you. We don't have to be best friends, but I have a level of respect for you. And the only reason I'm being lenient or giving you any type of grace is because of the respect. That's it. That's the only way. And sometimes that works in your favor. I remember this one time I was at work, and I think I explained this before, but I'm going to say it again. And the individual didn't know this, but he had told me to, excuse my language, but he told me to shut the fuck up. And, excuse me, anybody that knows me knows that I don't like that. I feel that it's very dismissive to say shut up. It's very short. Like, there's so many other words you could use other than that. So I didn't like it. So at first, I even laughed. Like, literally, y'all, I laughed at it because it was funny. But then I'm like, I know I don't like that. Like, I feel like he don't respect me or he disrespect me, however I want to look at it at the time. So I went to him one-on-one. We had a conversation, and I let him know how I felt. And he was like, listen, Barra, I honestly didn't mean nothing by it. I didn't know you felt that way. You know, I won't say it again. I'm like, cool. Like, I just told him, like, I told him how I felt about it. You know? And a lot of times, sometimes many of us don't feel respected, but we never express ourselves. You have to learn to express yourself, whether you want to or not. Like, do it as best you know how. Even if it doesn't sound right, just say it. Just say it. Say how you feel, or forever hold your peace. But if somebody is treating you any type of way, it needs to be addressed. Even if it's your husband, your wife, your family, it needs to be addressed. You know? And I think a lot of times people don't respect us because we don't say nothing or we don't have respect for ourselves. You know? So that should account for something. You know, I remember I was around a person, and every time he said something, it was total disrespect towards his significant other. Either he said it verbally to her, or he said it to me. And I'm like, damn, like I just felt that was wrong. Like, this is your woman, this is your goddess. Like, this type of respect you got for her, to call her out her name, call her a bitch, like, that's not right. And I just didn't feel that was right. I felt it in my spirit. I just felt that it wasn't right, you know. And I remember, I recall saying something like y'all play like that. Like, that's what he like, bro. He know she knows she my bitch or whatever he was saying. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I ain't knocking it, but it was just kind of seemed odd to me. Like, I just think that your queen, your goddess, like I just said, she should be held on a pedestal. She should be talked about highly, not degrading. I just think that's a degrading term to refer to a woman. That's just me. This is how I feel personally. You just have to move differently. If you can't respect me, then personally, I don't want to be around you. Like, I could deal with you from a distance, you know, even if we are in the same work environment. I have to work with you. We can coexist with each other. But if you can't respect me, even after I told you how I felt about something, then we have nothing to talk about. But I still won't disrespect you. I'll be cordial. I'll talk to you. You know what I'm saying? As in terms of being a work-related relationship. You feel me? Like, that's fine. But anything extra after that, I really have nothing else to say, because you have displayed to me your really true feelings on how you feel in terms about me. And how can you be around somebody that don't respect you? Let's look up the dictionary. Let's look up the definition of respect. Give me a second here. It said the feeling of deep affirmation for someone or something exhalated by the abilities, qualities, or achievements. Okay, so it says treating someone with respect means showing regard for their abilities or their worth. So there's two different definitions of respect. Like, for example, it's another way of looking at it. It says respect means that you accept someone for who they are, even if they're difficult, even though they're different from you or you don't agree with them. I'll give an example. I'm not against gay people or whatever you choose to believe in. I respect you for who you are. That's fine. I may not agree with it, but that don't mean that I'm not going to respect you. I'm going to give you the utmost respect regardless. It's not because we're still human. Like, people think that just because a person's journey is different than theirs, then they deserve to be disrespected. It's not right. It's not right, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'll tell you a quick story. I remember I was working at this factory, and I met this gentleman, and his name was Sam. Now, when I met Sam, his name was Sam. So later on down the line, he became he had like a certain role. Like, he was like kind of like a supervisor, so to speak. So he was kind of doing that, and my manager told me to go work with him. But by this time, I guess he told me to go work with Lily. But I didn't know that Sam was transitioning into a woman. I had no idea. Because when I met him, his name was Sam. So now when I seen him, his clothes was different. His whole aura was different, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. So he was like, I know why you're looking at me like that. And he was like, yeah, I'm in, a transition phase and stuff. He like, hope you don't think nothing of me. I was like, no. I said, no, not at all. That's not my journey. But I'm not mad at you, bro. Like, you good. And we were the cluster friends. He told me that he felt like I had a clear understanding of him. He told me that he felt like that I got him. While he was there, he was humiliated. He was treated bad. He was frowned upon. They didn't have no respect for him. He told me a story. He said, Keelan, why are they mad because of the choices that I make? My choices have nothing to do with them. And I couldn't agree with him more. He told me he was standing outside and he was eating his lunch, and there was a group of people in a car. They were so furious because of his decisions that he made to transition from a boy to a woman that they began to throw trash at him and call him names. It was so severe that he was crying, and not only was that he was crying, he had to go to HR. He told me this. This is a true story. I'm not fabricating them. This is a true story. He told me this. And my heart felt for him. I said, wow, like, he never did nothing wrong to these people. And every day he would walk past, he said people would look at him funny and just respect him. He never did nothing wrong to you. That's his life, his journey. And that's why I'm talking on the topic of respect. Respect people, regardless of their life choices. You have to respect them. Like, come on. It's not right. It's not right. And we got to accept them that that's right, or that is funny, or people want to be ignorant. It's not funny. Because you don't know what personal battle that this person is going through. You don't know what he's dealing with on a day-to-day basis. You don't know by you laughing. You don't know by you making fun of him that don't be the draw that he needs, God forbid, for him to kill himself. You don't know that. But a lot of immature people don't think about that. They're just in the mix of laughing and joking, and it's a joke. I don't find it funny. And I felt his pain. I couldn't relate. I couldn't understand, but I just felt for him. And nobody should have to go through that. Respect people. It don't matter how you feel about them personally. It don't matter what they've done. Respect them. You ain't got to deal with them, but at least show them some level of respect. It's only right. God respects us, even though we don't deserve it. So you should treat people with respect, even though technically they don't deserve it. Just be honest. A lot of people don't deserve it. Kill them with kindness, as my grandmother said. And I'm pretty sure they'll come around. Like, I'll give you an example. It was somebody at my job said some mean things to me. I didn't say nothing. My first response was to say something because I was very angry. I was very upset. And I could have said something, like really real talk. But I was like, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just not. I didn't feel like they were worth the energy. So I didn't say nothing. I just kept it to myself. They called me on the phone and they said, listen, hey, Keelan, I want to say this. I want to apologize for being short earlier. It's early in the morning. I got a lot on my mind. Even though I feel like your actions are inexcusable, just because it's in the morning time doesn't give you the right to be disrespectful. It doesn't give you the right to be mean. It doesn't give you the right not to respect me because the words that she said was not right. Even though I felt like that, I let her apologize and I moved on from it. Because I know that life is just too short. It's just really too short. So, am I going to dwell on the fact of what she said? No. Say what she said, forgive her, pray for her, and just move on. That's where I'm at in my life right now. Like, honestly. Because a lot of times we harp on stuff. I'm going to let you know how I feel. I'm going to let you know what I don't like. And I'm going to try my best to move past it. Life is too short. We got people dying every day. But we still focus on the bad stuff. Life is too short. They don't respect you, don't be around them. Simple as that. As simple as that. It's simple. But I honestly believe that we need to get to a place where we just respect each other. No matter what. Respect each other. Because I honestly believe that if we respect each other, the world will be a better place. It's more disrespect than actually respect. That doesn't make sense. You know, like, one last story. I remember I was picking up my son from school, and I was in a situation, and I remember my son had a bad day. And I went into the school, and I was talking to one of the teachers, and I wanted to really like, talk to her outside. I didn't want everybody in our business or what I was talking about, so I really wanted to talk to her outside, because she said my son was being disrespectful. He was like screaming. He was having a bad day. But I didn't want everybody in our business, so I wanted to really just like take her by herself and let's have a conversation so we can talk about it. So the moment I pulled her to the side, she yelled to security and said, "Hey, I'm gonna need backup. I'm gonna need some assistance." And I'm like, "What was that?" Like, I was confused. Like, what was that? And I asked her, I said, "Ma'am, I didn't say anything or I didn't do nothing wrong. I didn't disrespect you. I have the utmost respect for you. What's your level of respect for me for you to call security on me? For what? Because I wanted to take you to the side and have a private conversation with you? Because I just feel like it was anybody else's business?" That was it. And I was kind of offended. But I spoke my piece. We spoke to the principal of the school. And we let bygones be bygones. I just knew how to handle her. I wasn't mad at her, but I just knew how to handle her. Because I just felt like that situation was unnecessary. Because I used to talk to her every day. I felt like we had meaningful conversations. So I was confused. I could tell you a lot. I just remember, I was at work one time and I was verbally assaulted by a coworker, and I had to really like stop myself, pump my brakes, and respectfully, because I felt like he disrespected me and I thought he had a level of respect for me, but I had to respectfully let him know to really calm down, that what he was doing was completely unnecessary and I wasn't going to have it. That's all I did. I didn't get loud. I didn't yell. I wanted to, but I'm a different man today. And that's how I handled it. Everybody thought it was funny, that was being immature. I handled it. I had a conversation with the young man, and I just walked away. And I left it like that. Because, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth getting fired over? Is it worth? No, it's not. Sometimes you can treat people with grace even though they don't deserve it, as God does us. Even though we don't deserve it, He gives us grace. Even though people don't deserve it, I still give them grace. I could have flipped on them. I could have fought them. I was like, it's not worth it. At the end of the day, I'm going to leave y'all with this. The whole point of this episode is about respect and disrespect. We have to learn to treat people how we want to be treated. We have to learn to treat people with grace, even though they do not deserve it. And it's hard to do that. It is very hard to do that. I'm still learning that. I'm still learning. Because my mind always tells me, this person does not deserve this. Why am I doing this if they're not treating me like this? I guarantee you, more than likely they will come around. I guarantee that. And I just want to say thank y'all, each and every one of my listeners, for taking the time out, the second out to really listen to my podcast. I really enjoy you guys. I just speak. I speak from my heart. I speak whatever comes to my mind. And yeah, thank you. Like, y'all got any questions, concerns? Maybe you was in a situation where you feel like nobody respected you or disrespected you. Let's talk in the comments. Talk on Spotify. Let's message me. Let's talk. Like I said before, I really want to interact with my listeners. Like, let's get this, man. I believe we can all change the world. Just one day at a time. One day at a time. One day at a time. I want to do something new that I haven't done, that I really want to do. I'm going to pray for everybody right now, and I just want to say, God, just continue to look over each and every individual that listens to this podcast. help them along their journey, whatever it may be. Help them along their way. Provide, protect not only them, their families, their friends, everybody. Amen. Thank you. I'll see y'all next week.